Do you remember your last supper before the pandemic? The last meal you had out at a restaurant with friends or family? The last meal before fear and anxiety ran the entire conversation. If you had known it was your last, would you have lingered? Would you have ordered dessert? Would you have held your friends' hands and told them how much you love them? If you had known, would you have washed their feet? Tonight as we gather together, because this night was the beginning of the end. This night was Jesus' last supper with his disciples. Take a moment to imagine how Jesus must have felt. Friends, with all of this in mind, I invite you to join me in our opening words. Tonight, we will hear again and again of a love that knows no bounds. May we be fully present here. May we worship Holy God. Reading from the Gospel of John, chapter 13, verses 1 through 17, and then 31b and 2 through 35. I'm reading from the Inclusive Bible. It was before the Feast of Passover, and Jesus realized that the hour had come for him to pass from this world to Abba God. He had always loved his own in this world, but now he showed how perfect this love was. The devil had already convinced Judas Iscariot, son of Simon, to betray Jesus. So during supper, Jesus, knowing that God had put all things into his own hands, and that he had come from God and was returning to God, he rose from the table, took off his clothes, and wrapped a towel around his waist. And he then poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and dry them with the towel that was around his waist. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said, "Rabbi, you are not going to wash my feet, are you?" And Jesus answered, "You don't realize what I'm doing right now, but later you'll understand." And Peter replied, "You'll never wash my feet." And Jesus answered, "If I don't wash you, you have no part with me." And Simon Peter said to Jesus, "Then, Rabbi, not only my feet, but my hands and my head as well." And Jesus said, "Any who have taken a bath are clean all over and only need to wash their feet. And you are clean, though not every one of you." For Jesus knew who was to betray him. That is why he said, "Not all of you are clean." After washing their feet, Jesus put his clothes back on and returned to the table. He said to them, "Do you understand what I have done for you? You call me teacher and sovereign, and rightly, for so I am. If I then, your teacher and sovereign, have washed your feet, you should wash each other's feet. I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. The truth of the matter is, no subordinate is greater than the superior, and no messenger outranks the sender. Once you know all these things, you'll be blessed if you put them into practice." Jesus said, "Now is the chosen one glorified, and God is glorified as well. If God has been glorified, God will in turn glorify the chosen one, and will do so very soon. My little children, I won't be with you much longer. You'll look for me, but what I said to the temple authorities, I say to you, where I am going, you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, love one another, and you are to love one another the way I have loved you. This is how all will know that you're my disciples, that you truly love one another." The closer and closer we get to the crucifixion, the more earnest our prayers of confession feel. For we know that what was done to Jesus, betrayal, humiliation, violence, and death, are things that we do to each other all the time. So with all earnestness, a sense of urgency, and a deep hope for transformation, we return to this prayer of confession again, once again, trusting that the God who holds the stars in the sky is holding us tonight. Let us confess together. Holy God, who holds us together, if I were to place myself at your table, I would probably be Peter, misunderstanding your radical hospitality, sticking to the rules, arguing what I do and don't deserve. But then again, it's possible that I'd be Judas, the one who betrayed you, the one who failed to see the good right in front of him, the one who might have thought he wasn't worthy of your love. If I were to place myself at your table, it's possible I would be one of the unnamed disciples, watching but not speaking, silently missing the opportunity to tell you what I believe and how much I love you. If I were to place myself at your table, I'm confident that I would have made the same mistakes your well-intentioned disciples made, and that there were no surprises there. What is surprising is that I know you would have washed my feet nevertheless. So forgive me, God. Wash just my feet, not just my feet, but my hands and my head also. Amen. We are each a tapestry of stories. We are our stories of fear and grief, as well as our stories of love and joy. We believe that God sees all these interwoven truths and says to our fragile selves, come in. Come in from the cold, come in from the rain, come in from wherever you are and be here tonight. We believe that God then pours warm water into a basin to wash off the weariness of the day, the bruises of the past, and the doubt that clings to us. We believe that this act is an act of love. Similarly, we believe that God says to us, eat, and God shares God's self. And it is food not only for our bodies, but for our souls. We believe that all this happens every time we close our eyes and imagine God. And every time we close our eyes and imagine God. And again, every time we close our eyes and imagine God. We believe the parts of our tapestry that feel worn and frayed are held together. So today we remember. Today we thank you. Today we know we are held.